What's going on, Scorpio? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic month so far. Yeah, I've decided month because let me not get ahead of myself, Scorpio. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Scorpio, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Scorpio's that time. I know, can you tell I'm excited? It's the planetary energy spread. So with the planetary energy spread, it's just every time the sun moves into a different sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. All right, Scorpio? And this will be for the month. So there's that. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Scorpio. So Scorpio, I don't know if you can see here, I got a zodiac spread out here. We're going to talk about each of the planets and what signs they're in, and then we'll pull an oracle card for each. And then this two here, the Aries and your card, Scorpio, this is going to be for the eclipse energies that are going to be coming up. So let's talk about good old Taurus energy first there, because we have the sun in Taurus, Mercury is in Taurus, Jupiter is going to be entering Taurus. We're going to talk about that because Jupiter will be entering towards the end of the month. So we can get prepped for that energy. And then Uranus is in Taurus. So with the sun being in Taurus, the sun's going to enter Taurus on the 20th, and it'll be there through the 20th of April, and then we will be there through the 20th of May. And with sun entering Taurus, this really invites us to really kind of slow down and stabilize. You know, Taurus is the sign of, you know, they can be kind of a stubborn sign. I mean, they're your opposite sign, Scorpio. So where you're all about transformation and constant growth, they're more fixed in their ways, you know, kind of real rooted in the earth. But this gives us a chance to slow down, stabilize, kind of focus on our security. And it's a good time, you know, I really like to think of Taurus energy just like a time to really get out in nature, maybe do some type of like gardening or any type of things like that. You know, I just feel like Taurus energy is really good for that. And then also this is a good time for like really kind of like balance out like if you've been maybe working real hard, maybe just to get like that work smart, play smart balance in your life. Now, let's talk about the kind of the bigger one that's going down here, because Mercury is going to be doing some trickiness, because you know it's that time of the year again. Mercury retrograde. Yeah, we're all celebrating. But Mercury is going to be in Taurus, enter Taurus on the 3rd of April, and will be there through the 11th of June. I know that's quite a long time, but the retrograde time, right after the sun enters Taurus on the 21st of April through the 14th of May, Mercury is going to be in retrograde in Taurus. And so with, you know, especially with everything that's kind of going down, this is a good time, you know, like financially and things. This energy could affect your judgment in interactions, not even just yours, but on a global standpoint. This is going to affect, you know, how financial stuff is going to be going down. But retrogrades, when you think about retrogrades, they're really not like it's not like such an ominous time. It really is a great time for slowing down and reflecting. But, you know, I also will say during this retrograde, you know, just be extra mindful. I've been saying, you know, with any sort of like real big purchases, I say, you know, it wouldn't hurt, you know, keeping a receipt, you know, just something in your files. Also, you may notice there's like communication may be a little weird, and technology might be a little wonky at this time, you know, just between these retrogrades. So just something to keep in mind. But when it goes direct, you know, after the 14th, and it's going to be around the same time that Jupiter is going to be moving into Taurus, you know, things are going to start lining up. It might be a weird couple of weeks, but just give it through. Again, retrograde doesn't have to be like this weird kind of time, you know, where things are just going awry all the time, Scorpio. This is a good time to just like get a game plan, just especially once Mercury goes direct, because then, you know, everything's going to start. We've had time to get like a game plan. Now we can start putting that stuff into motion. And, you know, let's talk about Jupiter getting into Taurus, because Jupiter will be moving into, and this is a big one. Jupiter moves every 12 to 13 months. And with Jupiter's going to be moving there on the 16th of May, and will be there through the following year, May 25th of 2024. But this is a good time. You know, Jupiter is normally just like abundance and, you know, wisdom, just expansion. But now that with them being in Taurus, again, that energy is going to slow down a little bit. The growth may feel like it's slowing down, like the month or like the luck is, but really, this is a great time to start thinking about long-term investments, you know, in every aspect. You know, how do we want to think about our health, our finances, maybe our home space, whatever kind of means you want to be more secure in, and areas that you want to grow in. Jupiter rewards, you know, learning and figuring out, you know, what ways to work with the security. So, you know, around that time, Scorpio, take this time up until then, you know, really just kind of reflect, think of a game plan. How do you want to be going forward? And especially going to be good, you know, when we talk about the eclipses, it's all, the energies are really kind of lining up well for you, Scorpio, for all of us. You know, it may seem like a lot, but it all is going to work out in the end. And then last little bit, and all this energy, all this planning is going to help for the, you know, the real troublemaker in the room. Uranus has been in Taurus. You know, Uranus stays in the sign for about 7 years or so. And with Uranus being in Taurus, you know, things have been just kind of shaking up, all this bank stuff. I mean, you know, just, you know, probably things, we shifted things with, like, you know, how we work from home. Just everything has been changing. And now with Pluto having been into Aquarius, I feel like Uranus has really kind of cranked things up again. It's almost like they're in harmony right now. They're just like, oh, transformation here, transformation here. So this is a time, but Uranus doesn't do that to just like shake things up, Scorpio. This energy is meant to get rid of like old things that aren't working anymore. Uranus is a revolutionary type energy. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on, Scorpio. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Uranus is a revolutionary type of energy. So what it's doing is really asking us to evaluate what areas need to be kind of shaken up a little bit to adjust to the ever-changing times, because life is going to keep evolving, Scorpio. So Uranus is just making sure that we've taken all the necessary preparations to get there. So work with this energy, Scorpio. But let's see what you got. Wow. So let's see what. Don't panic. I got to work on that. But for your first card for this Taurus energy, and which is actually really perfect. I want to say Cancer got the same start there, which is interesting. You got the fifth card of Pisces there, which is the spilled milk card, Scorpio. And with the spilled milk card, this is a card of regret. Accidents happen. Don't sweat the small stuff. Mistakes, leave it in the past. It's over. Cannot be changed. Disappointed. Clean up time. Let it go. And minor problems. So this is perfect energy for you to get stable. If we're in a spilled milk situation, if spilled milk situations come up in the future, whatever this is, Scorpio, you know, if how this is going down, these situations, I agree with you, you know, like, especially if this is like a small thing, or even if it's like a big thing, Scorpio. I don't want to say like don't sweat it and like a don't worry about it, but I will say don't let it put you in a place where we just feel like that, gosh, this thing just happened to me just because, you know, like where it keeps us from growing. You know, we want to learn from these experiences. Spilled milk, you know, where it started off as a spilled milk situation, this could inspire you open up like a milkshake shop, or, you know, like that's what these situations are meant to do. I know that was a little extreme, but these are meant to help shape you, you know, and especially just when I think about like regrets and things too, you know, sometimes those, where I understand how that can happen, like, you know, where I get regrets, but regrets in all of this stuff, again, aren't meant to, you know, and disappointments in things, they're not meant to keep you down. Like, think about it, Scorpio. I mean, this, like, just with the cannot be changed, whatever this, you know, situation that has either gone down or even situations to come, they cannot be changed. You know, once the milk spilled, the glass has shattered, we're in it, you know, like it sucks, absolutely, but it's just like, what are we gonna do? You know, like these situations, be present in these situations right here. This is something we don't want to, like, try to be as present as possible, because there's growth. Because the thing is, after this thing has happened and when you get through it, because Scorpio, you're gonna get through it, it's going to, all kinds of growth, whether you're going to become more compassionate, whether you become more resourceful, whether you become, I don't know, maybe you could even provide like a I don't know, like a service, or maybe like a YouTube video or a blog or a book or something on how to get through spilled milk situations. But the whole point of that is to get you to rise up, especially when we're talking about, we're going, this is going to be really nice when we talk about this eclipse energy. But, again, try not to let this keep you down, Scorpio. When it's happened, it's over, in the sense of like the situation it's transpired. The glass has dropped, the milk is spilled. How do we clean it up? Let's not get it to where we're expanding the mess and perpetuating the problem. But let's get some tarot on this, Scorpio. Interesting. Okay. So you got the Two of Swords in reverse here. And, with this situation, because sometimes when this stuff goes down, Scorpio, this can get us in a place where it can throw us out of whack. We get to where we are doubting our intuition, because especially if this was like maybe like a mistake we made or something, we can get to this place where we doubt like our instincts, or get to like what, like, you know what I mean, Scorpio? We can get in our heads about this thing. But I feel that with this Two of Swords, it's like, don't let this throw you off balance, because again, that's not the point. This is to get you to, to get to tap into that intuition, This is the moon in Libra. I'm just thinking that this is just like a cycle, whatever this is. But you're going to get back in balance, but it's just how do we because here's the thing, Scorpio, spilled milk isn't going to stop happening, because in order for us to grow, these situations, they have to happen, big or small. But it's how you deal with them each time, because you've been in a situation like this before. So again, if there's something that's going down or something that goes in the future, don't let this get to the point where you freeze. We can pause and definitely breathe and kind of meditate on this, but start getting the gears turning about how we're going to move forward. Trust your intuition. You're an intuitive sign, Scorpio. You know exactly, if we were to really look within, we can navigate through this space. We can find this answers. We can definitely get through this. Let's see what else we got, Scorpio. Interesting. All right, King of Pentacles. And this is a good sign, because you got the King of Pentacles in reverse. But with the King of Pentacles being in reverse, we might be in a place, we're in a place, or we may feel, if something happens, where we might not feel secure. We might feel kind of thrown off guard, like whatever this spilled milk is. Maybe this has something to do with finances. The Pentacles can deal with a number of things. Finances, maybe this is something where we've been feeling, maybe something with our health, possibly, Pentacles can deal with manifestation. Maybe something has gotten in the way of getting an idea progressed. But if there is something that I feel like, especially when situations like this happen, Scorpio, one of the more powerful things that you can do in a situation like that is to find the abundance in it, because that's what the King of Pentacles does. Even in he just oozes abundance. I mean, everywhere he goes, whether it's his finances, whether it's just like all the nature that's around him, whether it's the people, the conversations, life is rich. And so if we can take this time and even find the richness in these situations, Scorpio, gold can come out of this. I mean, really, what better way? And look at you. Look at how you rise up better in your brand new suit, looking like a pimp. That's how you can get through these situations, like a boss. But in order, I feel like, to do that, it's seeing the abundance. It's finding, is trusting your intuition and trusting that the universe isn't just throwing this stuff at you just to throw curveballs at you. You know, if this is something that's been going on or if it's something that happens in the future. And Scorpio, this is not saying that, you know, that things are going to be like weird for you or that you're going to be in for, like even when I was talking about like the retrograde times, that's not the case. If anything, if something has got you feeling even a little nervous, that's a great feeling, because then let these feelings get out of our head a little bit, Scorpio. Let these feelings, this air energy, let's let those be indicators. It's like, okay, has that got me, oh, I felt a little twinge of nervous. Why is that? Oh, because I feel like my bank account may be at this. Or I may notice that, I have been feeling, you know, the body's been feeling a little tight, or maybe whatever it is, Scorpio. Let that indicator put you to motion, because that's what that energy is trying to do. I mean, we have so much. It's like this energy, you know, we're just gonna talk about a little bit. That's good energy for like Mars and Cancer, you know, like if we have like just like if if anything like just makes you feel off, explore that, you know, get a game plan now. We can get ahead of this. That's the beautiful part about tarot, you know. It's not meant to like set things up for you. It's to get you to, if we're not crazy about being a King of Pentacles in reverse, then what can we do in the present to get this King of Pentacles upright? Because the energy's here for it, Scorpio. It may feel in reverse right now. That's just because we don't have eyes on something. But now we do. We see it, and we're gonna catch that milk or something. Stay with me, Scorpio, more. Let's see what else we got. And you know, Scorpio, this is because you're my third one that I'm doing, and Leo and Cancer had like kind of like weird starts like this. So I feel like that, you know, there may be some weirdness, you know, maybe starting out here, but again, this is like, if anything, this gives you a chance to get ahead of it now, you know, Scorpio. This doesn't have to be where we wait for the shoe to drop to, you know, for things to go down. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Interesting. All right, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. You almost got me throwing stuff. Okay, so last little bit here, Scorpio. You got the Three of Cups, and then you got the Two of Cups in reverse, both in reverse. So, you know, Scorpio, I feel like, again, you know, wherever we're at in the situation, let's figure out how we can shift this thing on its head a little bit, you know. Let's see if we can make the connection with why this experience went down. You know, what was the whole point of this? Because, you know, sometimes just even asking that question can just help make that connection, you know, like I hope that makes sense. It's like when we figure out that, when we ask ourselves like that internal question, because the Two of Cups can be a card for me of like connecting with your higher self. When we ask ourselves, you know, what was this trying to teach us? Then we can find, we find the messages in there. We find the growth. We find the reasons to celebrate, even spilled milk stuff, because who knows? This could be a blessing in disguise, Scorpio. Let's say, for example, if we wanted to start this business and then let's say maybe things flopped and we had to sell or something. Well, maybe during this time it's like, well, maybe I'll start doing something else, or maybe like while you're doing in this fiasco, you happen to meet someone who wants to help you. Who knows how this can transpire? But even just thinking about that, Scorpio, when one glass falls over, another one is being filled, Scorpio, and there's going to be more to celebrate. I know we're just going to get a whole bunch of weird milk analogies, huh? But this energy, these experiences, they're trying to help you grow, Scorpio. And just thinking with this is Mercury in Cancer, and this is Venus in Cancer. I feel like, you know, nurture yourself in this time. Be compassionate with yourself. Especially if this is something where we feel like that we made a mistake or that we feel disappointed in ourselves. Be compassionate, be kind. You're learning, you know, whatever this is. You know, this is, you know, things happen, but we can grow from this. We can prosper, and everything can be can be wonderful, and we can celebrate. So just something to think about, Scorpio, when we're in this energy. What better energy than this Taurus energy to get all stable? So, all right, let me get some tea and then let's talk about this eclipse stuff. Because this hadn't even dawned on me. I would have did this sooner. But the nice thing about the eclipse energy is that we're going to be feeling this up until like the next eclipse. You know, this energy takes. You may notice the changes over the next like 5 to 6 months or so. But the first one that's going down in Aries is going to be happening on the 20th of April, and this is going to be a hybrid solar eclipse in Aries. And the hybrid solar eclipse is a combination of like the total eclipse and an annular eclipse. It's just like how the sun, the moon, and the earth are all set up. It's very rare. It only happens like maybe every once a decade or so. And the fact that it's falling on the 29th degree of Aries, which is the anaretic degree. And because you're gonna get a whole little lesson here, Scorpio. In each of the signs, there are 30 degrees, 0 to 29. And that last degree represents like the end of a karmic cycle. So like this is like, you've gone through all your Aries energy, and this is what I talk about, checking out your chart. It's really neat when you look at this stuff. But now this is like, Aries at its most mature. And this is this could represent like a second chance and really kind of realizing your authentic self and your destiny. Eclipse energy, brings about just it's closing one chapter and beginning another. We're just going through the cycles right now, Scorpio. So embrace this energy, work with this stuff. But let's see what let's get an oracle on that. See how we can work with this energy. Great time to trust your intuition. Ooh, especially because Scorpio, we're gonna talk about yours next. I'm excited to talk about the lunar eclipse one, because I think that's gonna be a dope one for you, Scorpio. Let's see what else we have here. I like that. This has been going around a little bit. You got the third card of Cancers here, Scorpio, which is the Constellation card. And with the Constellation card, this is a card of network, support, associates, gathered, meetings. Associates or associates? I'm still deciding. We're just going to take both. Meetings, socialize, organization, arrangement, a collection, exchanging data, influence, in connection with, a large quantity or amount. And Scorpio, I'm getting a lot on this a large amount or quantity, so I feel like that this can be a really great time for you. Just going probably over like these next like 5 to 6 months or so, as these eclipse energies really kind of settle in. I feel like that you can really take this time to learn a lot about yourself, to really do like a deep dive. Do you, Scorpio? It really just. It's just that and like the in connection with, how you have like your twos here in reverse. I just feel like that this can be a good energy for really all of us, not even just you in particular, Scorpio, but for all of us, just really getting in touch with our higher selves. And, because I feel like there's a lot of abundance that can come around that. There's a lot of energies that we can really work with at this time. And I feel like if we learn these energies within, this will start really kind of helping us when it's time to start networking, because this is going to be great energy, Scorpio. Really, Pluto being in Aquarius is giving us a flavor right now up until the 11th of June. But you can just pretty much just settle in right now that networking is going to be the name of the game. And not even just in like I'm thinking with King of Pentacles, not even just in like business. This could be if you want to do more maybe stuff in like the community, possibly. That's something I've even been thinking about, Scorpio. Maybe doing something along those lines, just cause, just being more involved. Maybe I've even been thinking about, just like how well do we know each other as far as like our neighbors and things along those lines. I remember talking with someone like years ago that they said they'd make it a point whenever they move to just get around just to say hi, because you never know because funny enough, they happened to lock their keys out of their place one day, and they, thankfully they knew who the neighbors were, because then it makes it little, just something to think about, Scorpio. This is great energy, because listen, I feel like when we think about like, when we say like networking and collaborating, that people may just automatically think business. But this could be even something like maybe starting up like a group, Scorpio, if you've been wanting to do more group activities, maybe even hanging out with some friends maybe during this time, you know, doing more things that help you. Taurus energy, you know, slowing down a little bit. But you know, this is going to be a great time, you know, with Aries energy. This is a good time to just start some things, you know, whether that be, you know, starting a hobby, you know, maybe you want to start like a gardening club or arrange some type of something, Scorpio. And this, you know, maybe just socializing even on like social media, you know, maybe starting like a forum or a group or something along those lines, Scorpio. But let's see how we can work with this energy. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what we have. Interesting. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so you got the Knight of Wands in reverse here, and then you got the Four of Pentacles upright. And with this Knight of Wands, you know, Scorpio, I feel like with this Knight of Wands, if there's something that we've been just wanting to start up, you know, whether that be whatever, like a hobby, maybe like a side gig, a new career, if that's on the table, I feel like that this is something that give it a try. And if we're worried about, just if we're resonating with that, if we're worried about maybe resources, you know, or maybe tapping into like savings or anything along those lines, this could be something where we think about networking, maybe think about crowdsourcing, something along those lines, you know, feeling there's power in community and there's power in connection. And I feel that especially if this is something that you're really passionate about, Scorpio, this could, and you know, that is going to raise not even just your vibration, but the, you know, whoever you're connecting with. You know, it's worth a try just to see, you know, pitch this idea, you know, again, you know, maybe we start a blog or something, you know, looking for, you know, people to start, whatever it is that you're doing. But I feel like don't feel that if there's something that you want to start up, don't feel like maybe that if it's like, if we're worried about lack of resources, for example, that's maybe preventing this. Don't focus on what you don't have, Scorpio. Focus on what you do have. Figure out how we can work with that and how we can manifest these things that we do need. Because that's how we're going to get this momentum, and that's how we embrace this change. That's how we work with this, you know, this eclipse energy. Changing, because it's more than just like, you know, it can be changed in a number of aspects, but that could even be something where we're changing too, Scorpio. Maybe changing this if we operate from a place of like doubting ourselves or not believing that we can do this thing, then give it a try, Scorpio. You know, this is the time, I feel like, really for the next couple decades, Scorpio. This is a great time. You know, the craziest ideas are the ones that are not implemented right now. So give it a try, see what happens. You never know who may want to support you, you know, what meetings may happen. Give it a try. All right, Scorpio. Now let's talk about this full moon eclipse that's happening in your sign here. Because I've been telling people, you know, I feel like so let me get into. So with the full moon eclipse that's happening in your sign, it's going to be happening on the 5th of May. And this could be, you know, at first I was thinking that, you know, I was thinking this was going to be like an intense change because, you know, your sign being known as the most intense sign. But I've been telling, at least, you know, up until, you know, your sign, that it's just like, it's less, I feel like it's going to be less of an intense. It can be intense, I feel like, if we're not working with the energies. That's when Scorpio energy is intense. But when we embrace transformation and metamorphosis, that change, that end of the cycle type of death, then that experience is more cathartic. That's what I feel like Scorpio energy is. It's a purge, it's a cleansing, you know, this is that rebirth. And that's what it's I feel like if Scorpio energy wasn't a thing, it would be a hot mess. It would be. And I feel like this is his energy. If we've had any sort of like trauma, maybe any sort of like childhood things or anything along those lines, any areas that we want to do any type of healing. This is a time to take that trauma, that pain, that hurt, and turn it into power, turn it into growth, turn it into lessons, into things that are lifting you up and that are turning you into a king of pentacles. And you're going to notice, Scorpio, that you take your already intuitive selves and it's going to be cranked up even more, really. And this is why I was saying, really being in tune with your higher self and connecting with that however you connect with the source, higher self, future self, God, Buddha, Jesus, it doesn't matter. But as long as we're making this connection, this can be just a beautiful time, because I tell you what, Scorpio energy, it changes the game up. But let's get some, let me get some tea and then let's get some tarot on this. All right, Scorpio, let's see what we have here. Oh, wait a minute. Wow, Scorpio, I forgot. I'm doing this all backwards. Well, we're keeping those. Let's get your oracle cards here. I'm just like all up in it. Wow. All right, Scorpio. That's a first. See, this is going to be an interesting time for you, Scorpio. I love it. Look at how intuitive you are so far, Scorpio. All this water energy on top of your water. I love this, Scorpio. You got the fourth card of Scorpio, which is the cat card. I'm with it. Didn't I tell you? And this is a card of apathetic, disinterested, aloof, my way or the highway, bored, unflappable, cool cat, unaffected, not my problem, what I want, when I want it, cool and calm, and disengaged. And Scorpio, with this energy, the first thing that really kind of stuck out was just the cool and calm aspect of it, because this could be one where you might feel this energy the most, over these changes over the next, few months possibly. So just stay cool, stay calm, observe these changes, The lovely thing about us water signs is it's just like, we feel this stuff out here, and when we feel it, that's how we heal it. So, just breathe, and relax when these feelings come up. My sun signs in Cancer. And so, if we do have any type of emotions, one thing to keep in mind, Scorpio, is, when we get into this place of, if we've been feeling down, like if we're like, oh, I'm, everything sucks. So, just be mindful of where our heads are at this time, because, it's very important. Thoughts are going to, become things. But I really feel like going forward that just really keeping, just being mindful. Okay. But I'm also kind of feeling, just because with this cat card, this is very much, this gives me very kind of like Four of Cups types of vibes, where we've kind of become sort of like, I don't want to even, dissatisfied is not quite the right word, but I guess I did just apathetic, towards life, just where things just sort of feel just kind of meh, I just say be mindful of that, Scorpio. If we get in that space of where, we're not interested, or just like, not paying attention to the signs, or, because when we get into this place of just like where the universe, if we feel like the universe doesn't have our back, or that, just something to be mindful of. I really think that, we don't want to get into a place of where we're just like, where we're just disinterested, you know, or that like life doesn't have any type of appeal or anything along those lines, because it just makes the journey and all of that just like, it gets to the point of us like, what are we doing then, you know, like it just like, yeah, we might as well just sit around and just nap all day, you know. Not there's nothing wrong with what cats do, but just something to think about, Scorpio. Let's see what these cards were that you got here. Interesting. Okay. So you got the Page of Pentacles in reverse here, and then you got the Ace of Cups upright. And you know, Scorpio, just you know, because I feel like maybe for some, you know, like there may be a point, you know, if we're not feeling this, you know, because just thinking with maybe like this spilled milk, maybe something happens while we're connecting, possibly. I'm just, you know, we're just painting some scenarios here. That if we've been in a place where, or if we get to a place where we just feel kind of disappointed or just like not really motivated to do things, maybe we feel like luck hasn't been coming our way and we're just like, well, just F it, you know, like I'm just going to kind of do my own thing, like, you know, YOLO, you know, just sort of like getting in this sort of just like weird, just kind of like nothing matters kind of mentality. You know, just be aware of that, you know, because that's going to affect, you know, just your that's going to affect you getting to this King of Pentacles here, and that's going to affect your stability. You know, we want to get to a place where, especially, you know, if you've been having a string of weird situations where it feels like life hasn't been going your way, or if something comes up in the future. Again, we want to take this time and pause for a second and really be present. Tap into our senses and really kind of figure out what's going down here. Connect with higher source. You know, the Ace of Cups is a big, you know, it's the most intuitive cup. Your cup is overflowing. So if we've been feeling like things haven't been flowing, you know, or just that the connection has been weird, or that we just, that we don't have any, because this, you know, the cat card, sometimes it does give me this energy of just like, you know, why bother, or just like, you know, kind of like uninterested, or, you know, whether it be with life, with people, with situations, whatever. So just being mindful when we get into that, you know, if we get into that headspace, Scorpio, and not try, and if we do, because listen, it can happen from time to time, but just try not to where we're staying in that space. You know, when you get eyes on this thing, give it some healing. You know, let's take this time and fill back our cups again, because this, you know, and especially just if we've been feeling, you know, Ace of Cups for me can be a good time as well, really, to just kind of take a moment and just kind of self-care and get all your cups back in line here, Scorpio. Get that energy back fresh. So just something to think about more. All right, Scorpio, so that's all we got there. So yeah, don't let this transformation deter you or keep you from achieving your dreams or making any of your wishes manifest. And you know, in Scorpio, you know, try not to, you know, if we get into a place where we're doubting, like, you know, if higher self has our back, or, you know, we feel like things are going against us, you know, try not to doubt that connection. Higher self always has our back. You know, even when things seem weird, it's just like, you know, it's just like if things aren't aligned, you know, if we don't feel like our cups are being filled, this is a perfect question to ask why, and then make adjustments from there. So, all right. Let's move on to the Gemini energy, because Venus is in Gemini. And with Venus being in Gemini, she entered Gemini on the 11th of April, and she'll be there through the 6th of May. And this is just really just kind of like a lighthearted and cerebral energy for Venus to be in. Very fun, very kind of flirty, socialite type of energy. And with, you know, Venus dealing with like finances, abundance, things along those lines, this encourages us, and, you know, Gemini being dealing like with intelligence, early learning, curiosity, you know, very, very intelligent energy. You know, this energy encourages us to also invest in things that, you know, doing any sort of like studying, anything along those lines, you know, investing in the mind. And, you know, but also, Scorpio, you know, just thinking on like, because Venus is the planet of love as well. This is an interesting time for love. It's not that I don't feel like you can't fall in love right now, but I just feel like with it being, just kind of a more social time, this is the type of energy just like to enjoy, go on like a few dates, just kind of take it slow, get to know each other, really kind of pick each other's mind and just do a little banter, before Venus moves into Cancer and we start really kind of settling down and, really kind of locking things down there, Scorpio. But let's get an oracle card first. Yeah, that was the first Scorpio that I did that, so that was interesting. But yeah, let's get an oracle on this. All right, Scorpio. All right, so we got the fifth card of Libras here, which is the book burning card. I haven't gotten this one. And with the book burning card, this is a card of censorship, silencing, control, discord, canceled, persecute, suffocate, interesting, destroyed heritage, stay with me, limiting freedom, constraint, rewrite history, mind games, changing the narrative. Okay. So I do, that's interesting. Just with that changing the narrative, if we've been, just because, like I was saying, Venus is one of where Jupiter is like the great benefactor, as far as like abundance and things goes. Venus is the small benefactor, but still just as abundant. Venus is represented by the Empress. So I've been just thinking with that and saying that and thinking about the rewrite history and changing the narrative. If we've been feeling in a place where we haven't been feeling like abundant, whether that be if we haven't been feeling like our finances, or just if we just really been feeling in like this place of lack, is going to be really, really, really important to change that narrative, to rewrite that story. Because here's the thing, where I'm not saying like if we're in like a weird, like maybe a tough situation right now, is not to say that we're not pretending that this isn't happening. It's more so of like, this to me is almost like a practicing gratitude. It's just like instead of saying all the ways that things suck, it's just like, okay, this situation has helped me grow in this way. Or even though I might be feeling this way, thankfully I have, maybe tea to drink or something to watch the YouTube on, or food, water, clothes, whatever, even just things along those lines. If we can change that narrative, you're moving into an abundant mindset. And when we make that, and listen, Scorpio, it's not something that because it's something that it comes with, with practice. But the more that we get in that headspace and keep that narrative going, then that's going to be what our reality becomes. That's the beautiful part of this journey. What we paint in the present is what manifests in the future. But we have to be mindful of what energy we're living in, what ways that we're limiting our freedom, because it's all in the mind, a lot of it. And again, I know there's outside influences as well, but it's just like, how do we work with these energies? That's okay. Just because these outside influences are happening, what are we going to do about it? We can't just keep it in a place where it's just like, okay, this stuff it keeps happening to. Well, I guess we can, but it's just going to it's just going to get you in a place where we're not feeling as abundant, and we want to feel abundant, Scorpio. So that's just something to keep in mind of, telling yourself, maybe getting yourself, when we were talking about investing in knowledge, and things, maybe finding ways to, good ways to, or, effective ways to be in a state of abundance. Or you don't even have to buy anything, Scorpio, maybe going on, looking for different apps, or maybe going on YouTube, or just going on the web and just seeing. But I just feel like, be very mindful of just like, if we tell ourselves, that like, our situation is, less than satisfied, or whatever, narrative we may tell ourselves. Because again, this doing these positivities, this positive stuff and changing the narrative, what that does, it gets your mind in a place where you can analyze this situation that, this situation that you might be in a lot more efficiently. We can manifest different ways to get out of here. We can get resourceful and then get our stability back. But if we just stay operating in a negative funk, in a low, like a low vibration, then that's just what's going to perpetuate, because that's the energy that we're giving off to the universe. We got to be a magnet, Scorpio. So okay, no, let's get some tarot on this, and then we'll go a little further. I'm also, just what popped in my head, Scorpio, if we're, for some others, and for all of you, if you're in a situation where you feel like that you're being silenced or censored in some kind of way. I'm not sure why we would be censored or anything about lines, but just like if we've been feeling, oh, hold on, Scorpio. Oh, okay. Yeah, if we've been feeling in a place where we've been feeling silence or feeling censored or control, then, because this could be like, for example, let's say like work, maybe there's something that you've been wanting to change, but maybe management doesn't want to, you keep bringing it up, but it keeps getting shot down or something along those lines. I feel like that it's time to step out, and to just if that's something that's resonating with you, or if this is like maybe like a relationship or just like a situation, if you feel like that you're not able to like express yourself or anything along those lines, not really live in your confident, abundant selves, then let's do something about that. Let's get some eyes on that. All right, but let's see. Interesting, Scorpio. So you got the Six of Cups, Four of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles all in reverse here. And I feel like that the big thing here, like how I was talking about earlier with that changing the narrative, if we've been feeling less than abundant, if we've been feeling, or if we get to a place where we feel like we haven't been lack of abundance, or that things haven't been going our way, that it hasn't been making sense, I really feel like with the Six of Cups coming up, this is one of your cards. This is a Sun in Scorpio. With the Six of Cups, this is saying that if because the Six of Cups can be a card of staying stuck in the past. When I feel, especially when it's popped up in reverse here, and really the Six of Cups is about like making new memories. It's learning from your past to create more abundance for the future, more areas to celebrate in. But in order for us, I feel like, to get to those wins, Scorpio, we have to be in that energy. We need to be in a place of gratitude. And it's not to say that you're not grateful for what you have, but it's just like, are we giving... where's that balance at? Are we given, it's like, it's one thing if you just, spit an affirmation or two, but the rest of the day we're just steeped in negativity, we're steeped in a low vibration, then that's going to keep you where we can't move forward. It's going to keep you stuck, and it's going to keep you just like in a rut where it feels like that we can't manifest anymore, that we can't trust our intuition. Because you got, two aces here. This is a new opportunity, or a great opportunity. Even just when I was thinking about this energy, to really change up your energy. I almost feel like even like karma is kind of what's popping to my head. Like even like do some type of like work along those lines. We could even like change up a cycle like that. Maybe for some of you that's right. That just popped in my head, Scorpio. But this is something that, if this is resonating with you, there are new opportunities around you, because if something goes south, when Ace of Pentacles seems like it's in reverse, another one just flipped upright, Scorpio. But we just have to find it. We need to look for this stuff and change the narrative and realize that, this spill, if we're maybe focusing on like a spilled milk situation, that cycle is going to end, but we have to choose to let it end. We have to, we got to celebrate the fact that, all right, this is over, but what am I going to do to get back to this, like this happy space? What can I do to create more new memories, create more abundance, but that could be, you know, just even thinking that silencing, that control, that discord, the suffocate, that could be the positive voices that we're telling ourselves, you know, that you know, take it as it resonates, Scorpio. But that could be something too, you know, not stifling that voice and really listening to your higher self. If your gut's trying to take you somewhere, allow that freedom, you know, let that inner voice, you know, and then I think I had mentioned something about some child healing, you know, that could be something too, you know, just even thinking with this Six of Cups, this gives me, you know, I mean, look at these little children here. There could be something where there's just like maybe some like old ways of operating, maybe some like even like familial, like roots or things, you know, like when, you know, like it's like, how am I trying to put this, Scorpio? You know, like when you have like maybe in like a family where they say like you're meant to do this thing, you know, you're only going to do X, and then now you realize you don't like this thing. We got to undo a whole bunch of familial type of, I hope that makes sense, Scorpio. But this just really seems to me, you just be mindful about getting caught up in like a spiral, you know, but if you do, judgment-free zone, how can we heal from this? You know, what is this situation trying to teach you? You know, don't get so, you know, and it's, be mindful because yours is a fixed sign. So it's like, you know, when you get started on that, it can be hard to break that cycle, but it can be adjusted, Scorpio. All right. Let's get to one of your rulers here, because Mars is in Cancer, and with Mars being in Cancer, this Mars is gonna. Well, when did Mars enter Cancer? I think it entered on the 25th of March. That sounds about right, and will be in Cancer until the 19th of May. And with Mars being in Cancer, you know, this could be, and this is going to affect the water signs, you know, because I'll tell you what, I've been feeling a little, I don't want to say aggressive, but the heat has definitely turned up a little bit. But with Mars being in Cancer, you may notice that, you know, we want to be mindful of, just because Cancer, it can be, when not balanced, you know, we can be an emotional sign, and so you want to be mindful of when we're doing, because it's one thing because Cancerians, you know, we're sensitive to the energies, but when we get kind of caught up in that energies, we can be reactive. And we want to be careful with that with the Mars energy, because then that can lead to, you know, with Mars being, you know, having that just natural aggression to it, you know, we could potentially lead to some spilled milk situations, Scorpio. So, you know, it's something we want to be mindful of. But I feel like the really lovely thing about like Mars being in Cancer is that with Cancerian energy, when we're really about something and we're you know, we want to nurture that thing, we're going to go for it. You know, we're like, if it resonates with us, we're going for it. So this is a great time. If something is resonating with you, go for it. See what that passion can bring you, you know, because Mars is very passionate, you know, it's our energy, you know, it's our drive, you know, what pushes us. So use that, you know, work with that energy and work, you know, use that to bring your dreams to fruition, to pursue whatever it is that you've been wanting to pursue, Scorpio. But let's get an oracle on this. All right, Scorpio, let's see what we have here. I love it. Interesting. All right, you got the 8th card of Sagittarius here, which is the microphone card. What you got to say, Scorpio? And with the microphone card, this is a card of news, trending, broadcast, expression, strong opinion, make known, current events, public speaking, speak truth, communicate, social media, being heard, and speaking up. And with this, you know, just for some of you, you know, and well, you know, really for all of it. Well, you know, no, let me back that up. For some of you, just thinking with, you know, this public speaking, just with how much like exposure that this card is talking about as far as like social media, communication, public speaking things. Couple that with the constellation card here. I feel like it would be a good energy if we're in some sort of like spotlight, like if we're on public eye, social media, whatever. This would be a great energy for you to just really start, like if you've been wanting to do more, start broadcasting yourself, putting your energies out there more, maybe doing, and listen, like you see how I'm trying to figure out technology all the time. So if you feel like that's not in your strong suit, hit up a friend. I'm working on that right now. But hit up a friend. Hit up someone maybe who's a little more, who's got the savviness, who can kind of help you navigate that space, kind of show you some tips and tricks and things. But it could be a time for you to start broadcasting, start trending. Maybe start networking. Maybe start like a podcast, or maybe start like a thing like doing like interviews or something like that. Scorpio, I don't know. Let's talk about let's spill some milk, Scorpio, and talk about that'd be fun. Look at you. Just something to play around with, Scorpio. Well, let me see what else. For some others, I feel like that. Just thinking with that, like that kind of like the book burning card, as far as like the silencing, the control. If we feel like we've been in like a controlling situation or something along those lines, I almost don't feel like, I feel like maybe we're worried about spilling some milk. Maybe we're worried about possibly, making a situation or anything along those lines. I don't feel like anything like dangerous, Scorpio, keep that in mind. But just like if we're worried about like maybe getting into like an argument, if this is like a relationship, for example, I feel that if it's something that, is not raising your vibration, it's got you, because you got quite a bit of reversal stuff going down here. So this, if it's got you something, if you get in a situation that gets you in a weird place, it may be time to speak your truth and try to figure out how we can start getting out of that, Scorpio. But let's get some tarot on this and get a little bit more on these details. Actually, let me get some tea real quick. Okie dokie. Let's see what tarot we got here. Oh, okay. All right, I'm with that. You know what? Because you got the Fool up right here. And what else you got? Interesting. Okay. And we got the Ten of Swords. And so I do feel like for some of you, when I was talking about that, if we just been feeling where we've been kind of like trapped, or been feeling like there's been nothing to celebrate, or that we've just been kind of stuck, or just can't seem to quite move on. We're having trouble, like seeing the silver lining, and just been feeling like it's just been like things have just been going against us, and it's just like we're just stuck. I feel like with this Fool, it's that was a weird way to say that. I think with the Fool, this is a good time to start thinking about what a new beginning would look like. And I get where, especially if this is like some type of like relationship, or maybe if this is like a job, I get where it can be a little frightening at first to throw yourself in like a situation that can seem kind of precarious, where it's just like, well, what am I going to figure out next? How am I going to navigate through this space? Take this time, figure this out, Scorpio. This is not something where I'm saying, you got to get this figured out like right now, Scorpio, hurry. No, this is just, I feel like these energies are just like saying, like, start thinking about this stuff, Scorpio. These energies that are coming up, it's not like you're going to be like just like pushed into change. It's just like, hey, things are going to be coming up, some thoughts, higher self is trying to like, get you to end a cycle here, especially with the Ten of Swords. This is a card, this can be a pretty intense card as far as like, feeling like you're at your lowest, that you're at rock bottom and that we can't find a way out. And Scorpio, if we are feeling something like that, I feel like try not to you get to this place if we're, where we're suffering in silence. Maybe this is something, thinking with that constellation card. Maybe talking with a friend, or maybe we're just thinking with that cat card. Maybe we've just gotten into a place where, things have just gotten so bad. We're just like, well, whatever, like, what does it matter? And we just be careful with that, Scorpio. We want to change the narrative. We want to speak out and remember that this journey is exciting. There's so much there's so much to be like there. So much I can hardly talk about it, Scorpio. There's so much abundance out there, but we have to see that. We got to realize that, because the nice thing about the Ten of Swords, even when we're feeling at our lowest, we can only go up from here. And you may have to crawl at first. But you know what? Once you get crawling, you get back in shape. And the next thing you know, you're going to be walking again. And then you're jogging. And then you're running. It's a whole beautiful transformation. And it's a good thing, Scorpio, that this, if anybody, and listen, I know how this may sound, but if this is going to be happening to anyone, if something like this goes down, you're going to handle it like a boss. This is something that you have the tools to get through this thing, even if you don't feel like it in the moment. And it's going to shape you in a way and help you grow in a way that I feel like it's going to blow your mind. So just a little something to think about. Now let's talk about Pisces energy, because we got two contenders. I don't know why I said contenders. Two I guess they're homies, chilling in Pisces. You got Saturn in Pisces, and then Neptune's in Pisces. Now, let's talk about Neptune first, because with Neptune in Pisces, you know what? Yeah, especially with all this stuff going down here, talk about connecting with higher self. Let's talk about Neptune, because with Neptune in Pisces, Neptune's at home in Pisces. That's one of Pisces rulers. And Neptune changed out in a sign for about 12 to 14 years or so. And she'll be in Pisces until like the end of May 2020, or excuse me, not May, end of March 2025. And with Neptune in Pisces, this can be the biggest thing that I really like about this energy is just like both Neptune and in Pisces, they're very psychic, very spiritual, very compassionate energy. And I feel like that this would be a great energy to get in touch with yourself, your spirituality, do some spiritual healing, and however that looks like, like spirituality, you don't have to do like tarot or, look to the stars to be in touch with your spirituality. This could be, maybe getting in touch with nature, or maybe going to a church, or however spirituality looks like you, wherever you can get that healing. That's where I feel like this is great energy to work on that. But this is also great energy, I feel like, for strengthening that connection, support. Just thinking with that constellation, just with where I just feel like where energies are going to be kind of going here over the next few years, just like, getting in a place where we're just all trying to raise that vibration, where we're all trying to, just be in a place of just like, just spreading positivity and just like, and of support and of, kind of peace, love, and freedom and all that, Scorpio. That's kind of where I kind of am with that Neptune and Pisces energy. But one little caveat. Neptune, they live in the 12th house, and when Neptune energy, Pisces, Neptune more so, he kind of deals with like fantasies, escapism, in places of what's the word I'm looking for? Like confinement, like, jails, hospitals, asylums. It's a weird, we get in that weird kind of realm there. So that's something we want to be mindful of as well, getting kind of stuck in like escapism and all of those things, Scorpio. Just something to be mindful of, with this energy. And then Saturn being in Pisces, and I was talking about, Mars and Cancer, about, if we got anything passionate about, starting that up. Saturn and Pisces. This is a dope placement dope place for Saturn to be right now. Because Saturn, taskmaster can be a bit of a hard ass sometimes. At least it can come across to be. But really, Saturn just wants us to put in that work so we can grow. And considering that Pisces energy can be so dreamy, what Saturn is trying to do here is just take those dreams and make them a reality. It's just like, wow, this is lovely. Why have you been keeping this in your head? Let's bring it from the dome to the home. Let's make this stuff manifest. Let's create stuff. Let's fill this space. And this is another good time for spirituality and getting in touch with your higher self and all of that, Scorpio. And Saturn's going to be in Pisces for the next 3 years until like the end, towards the last week of May 2025. So work with this energy right now. This is really kind of a spiritual time here. But let's get some, let's get a little tarot on, or excuse me, get an oracle on this and see how we can work with this energy. Interesting. I hadn't got this one before. All right, you got the 9th card of Sagittarius here, which is the ballet shoes. Look at you, getting your I don't know, I was going to say like your dance moves or something. I had something real clever for that, Scorpio. Moving on. This is a card of stamina, endurance, talent, repetition, effort required, on your toes, honing a skill, laser focus, poise, and grace. Tread lightly, balancing act, pursuit of arts. Ooh, I like that. And expertise. So, Scorpio, this is what perfect energy to work with this, especially when I was just talking about Saturn and Pisces. If you just have a skill that you want to hone, if you want to pursue some arts, like pick up a hobby, anything along those lines, this is, because I'll tell you what a great way to get in touch with your spirituality, to kind of get in touch with higher self, than to do things that like to express yourself, to express your creativity and start really honing on that skill and seeing where that leads you, Scorpio, because really you want to talk about abundance. There's all kinds of abundance there just in that creation alone. Maybe some of you want to be a dancer. That's something to think about, getting yourselves out there on dance. Maybe, and if we don't want to do like any I don't know, Scorpio, maybe even making like dance movies. I don't know. Do something really cool with that. Hone these skills. But this is something that this is great energy. Even when I was talking about with Venus being in Gemini, learning a new skill, education, all of that, any sort of like self-improvement is anything that increases your stamina, and like increases your energies, it's fantastic, Look into these talents that you have, Scorpio, and just really work on making them just like just honing these skills. I thought Mercury retrograde is getting closer. Running out of words here. Let's get some tarot on this, Scorpio. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So, we got the Hanged Man here. And with the Hanged Man, I really do feel with this Hanged Man, just like for some of us, if we've been feeling in a place of just like being stuck, or if we just been feeling like, things haven't been getting ahead or something along those lines, then I feel like it's time, the Hanged Man, this asks us for to consider a new perspective, to change things up. If things haven't been going your way, let's think on our toes here. Let's start improving. Let's start thinking, how can we make adjustments? What ways can we get ourselves cut down from this tree so we can get some enlightenment here? But it's something that I do feel that if we have the Hanged Man, when the Hanged Man pops up, it really is, it can feel like, in the moment, it can feel just like we're stuck, or that we're, that like like things are against us or something along those lines, Scorpio. But it really is just like the Hanged Man is there to ask us, it's Neptune energy, just like how much is, like almost like how much is enough, like if you've been operating a certain way for so long and if haven't been getting any of the results that you want, it's just like, how much do you want to sacrifice until we're willing to change things up a little bit? You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But ultimately the Hanged Man is considering a new perspective, especially if we've been feeling kind of stuck, to get out of a situation. And just if we've been feeling stuck, I really think that if we feel like there's not a solution that we're coming up with just on our own, just with the Three of Cups, talking with someone, getting another viewpoint on this, they may help you out, Scorpio. Oh, interesting. No more. Okay. So yeah, that's all we got there, Scorpio. But this is something that, and this last little bit, just thinking, just really again, with that, what we're telling ourselves as far as like abundance and things, if we're feeling stuck or something along those lines, that repetition, just like that repetition can keep you in a stuck place. If we try to switch up the narrative, feed it with some positivity, make that a routine, start getting that, making that a repetitive motion or a repetitive thing, then that's what's going to ooze into your world there, Scorpio, positivity and change. So just something to think about, expansion. But let's talk about your last card here, your other ruler, because you're so cool, you get 2 rulers. Pluto. And Pluto is going to be going retrograde in Aquarius. And he'll be going retrograde from the 1st of May until the 11th of June, and then we'll move into Capricorn for the rest of the year. But with Pluto being in Aquarius, things are already starting to change up. But I mean, it's now just going to be kind of like, how retrogrades can be a reflective time. Now it's going to kind of be, it's like us and the world are going to be going in because, Pluto being one of the outer planets affects, generations and whatnots. Pluto brings mad change. But it's for the better, it's meant to improve. The last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, the American Constitution was ratified, it was around the time of the French and Industrial Revolution, because Pluto stays in about a sign. Pluto has a weird kind of orbit with signs, but it's about between 12 to 20-ish years or so, give or take. But, there's going to be a lot of changes in like how we network, just with this constellation card, because that's Aquarius energy. They deal with technology, humanitarianism, just the collective. So how we exchange data, all of that, things are going to change drastically. So just keep eyes on that. And this is going to be something that's going to be changing over the next couple decades. This time is just kind of giving us a little flavor until we get into this thing next year. But let's get an oracle. Oh, okay, looks like we don't have to work that hard, Scorpio. Let's get an oracle on this. Interesting. Okay, so you got the 7th card of Taurus is here, which is the eyeglasses card. And with this eyeglasses card, this is a card of assessment, evaluate options, perspective, review, analyze, opinion, judgment, examine, seeing clearly, define print, estimate, closer look, focus, awareness, and check the details. And so, I feel like Scorpio with this, just if we do any sort of like networking, I'm just kind of thinking in like business or anything that has to do with any sort of like contracts or any sort of deals, anything along negotiations. Just make sure that I feel like, that we're reviewing the fine print, that if we need any kind of like paperwork, that we ask for paperwork, any type of clarity, just doing our due diligence, Scorpio. I feel like really that's all that's kind of going down there. But I also been, just thinking too, because you got like a lot of stuff talking about, at least with these couple cards, talking about like focus, and you got this one talking about laser focus. I feel like, really being mindful of what we're focusing on during this, just paying attention to that, Scorpio, in general, but really, let's just say over the next, like, few months, just really paying attention to what you're focusing on, analyzing that, really like figuring out, like, how is this contributing to my growth? Is this raising my vibration? And if not, what steps can we do to switch things up? You know what I mean? So that's just something that popped into my head, just something to think about. And there's just like really the overall tone here seems to be just like this month for you is just going to be a matter of perspective. Look at that. Every now and again I feel like I get this just for these situations here, but it's just a matter of perspective, Scorpio. I got this like years ago. It's like my second tattoo. A little sidebar there. Yeah, well, for Scorpio, hit me up for some tea sometime, and maybe I'll tell you the full story why I got it. All right, let's get some tarot on this, Scorpio, so I can think about getting you out of here facing this month. Let's see what we have here, Scorpio. Interesting, I'm with it. So you got the Eight of Wands upright, and then you got the Page of Cups in reverse here. And Scorpio, I do feel that with the Eight of Wands, this could be a time where things are going to start like picking up for you. That you could notice this might be a busy time. It might... I feel like that if we get to a place where we feel like that things are, I feel like that things with this, things are going to go a lot faster than, if we've been maybe stuck or if we do maybe get in like a rut. I do feel like that things are going to improve, but the big thing that's in order to keep, I feel like, this energy moving is, okay, there we go. It's like what to keep this energy moving and to keep things working is like how I was talking about. It's a matter of perspective, just like, are we seeing the opportunities that are around us? Are we listening to our intuition? Because you got, you're racking up a lot of cups there at the beginning, but just like, are we paying attention to our intuition, and listening, looking for the signs, and not being, stuck maybe in like in a rut or in like whatever that might be, Scorpio, and just really being receptive to what's going down here. And I feel like if we do, that's going to help keep this energy moving where things are going to be. It may not be going like crazy fast, maybe not as fast as we want, maybe as far as like progress and things, but at least things will be moving. And then before you know it, once we do have things back on track here, things are going to take off before you know it. But it's just something that, it's just going to be a matter of, I feel like, really, just where our head's at during this time is going to affect the pace of this growth that goes down for you, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, let's see what's our last little card here. Interesting. All right. So we got last card, the Temperance card in reverse here. Let's switch back over. So Scorpio, really, I feel like if anything that throws you out of balance this month, or, if we're having trouble seeing, or we feel like that we're not growing in any aspect of life, or that we feel whatever this is, I really feel like that this is a really great time for you to just kind of sit down and figure out, just like what's next, what adventures do I want to go on, what ways do I want to grow, and what ways, this is a good time to just figure all of those deep questions out, to start setting the the trajectory in that direction. Because don't put any kind of like weird pressure on yourself, because maybe even thinking with this Eight of Wands, this can be like a card of maybe like we're feeling like anxious, like that we have to decide like right now, if we're not, like we don't make this decision, that we're just going to miss out on our Ace of Pentacles or something along those lines. But Scorpio, you're going to get all the abundance that you're meant to get. We just have to figure out just how do you want to grow? How do you want this abundance to look like? What is that evolution, that transformation looks like? And then taking those steps towards that, instilling this stuff and achieving that balance. And I feel like once you do, this is going to be a dope time for you. So I'm with it. I think I'm gonna leave that there, Scorpio. So yeah, if anything resonated with you, if you like that, Scorpio, give it a thumbs up and share this, because this is really where your head's at is going to be. That's going to really kind of help, or it's going to shape how things are going to be going. So we just want to make sure that that we're just in that abundant mindset, that you're in a place of like yes, like the universe is taking a time each day just to take them, like what are you thankful for? What are you grateful for, whatever abundance, Scorpio. So something to think about. And then if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week, month, all of them. And then social media, I'm getting some stuff figured out on the other platforms, but I'm on this app, Insight Timer. It's a meditation app, and I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And this is a place to drop like positive affirmations and encouraging messages. So, if you're going through this, Scorpio, what better way, like on your journey, drop some nuggets in there. If you need just a little pick-me-up, there's a whole little treasure chest for you over there. But again, that's the app Insight Timer, and the group is called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. That's all in the description box, Scorpio. And then lastly, if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, wherever, Scorpio, come on over and check out my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We talk about lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card so I can get you out of here. Interesting. I like that. Well, you got the Five of Wands here in reverse. And with this Five of Wands, let's talk about that while I get your oracle card. The Five of Wands, if we've been feeling in conflict, with where life has been going, maybe if we've even been in conflict with people, maybe a person's caused this spilled milk situation. Hope it's not a Cancer. And if it is, send them over to the Chariot and Friends. We'll get them synced up with the moon. But I feel that if we're in any kind of conflict or anything like that, then this energy is saying, let's get a game plan. Let's figure out, let's do some brainstorming and feeling out where is the conflict, why is there conflict, and see if we can make any sort of like adjustments or anything along those lines, Scorpio. Yeah. And then for your oracle card, you got the Witch heart here upright. And Scorpio, this really feels like, doing a lot of things that are good for, really just listening to your heart, and because this Witch heart, you see how it has these lunar cycles underneath here. There may be times when we feel that it's just like that things aren't going our way, or that it can just like, I'm almost like getting with this, just like we just feel like that, I don't know, like our heart hurts or something like that. Like, like we don't, that it seems like no matter what, we can't seem to get our abundance maybe, or something along those lines, Scorpio. But I really feel like that cycle is just saying, it's a reminder that these feelings that you're going through, it goes in cycles. Take it from a Cancerian. Life is just nothing but cycles. But the nice thing about the cycles is endings and beginnings. So it's just like when one thing ends, it's just like, what do you want to begin? And with both of your pages being in reverse, it's just like, and you got, wow, Scorpio, that's really sick. That just dawned on me. Last little bit here. Both of your pages, Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles. Then you got the Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. It's just like, I feel like if we listen to that, like that inner child, listen to that voice, or listen to our heart, then you'll manifest your abundance, because it's all lined up there. It's just realizing that you have all of the tools right there for you, Scorpio. That's brilliant. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. Hopefully that made sense. So you stay safe out there, with this, not that I feel like there's anything weird going down, but just like, be mindful where your head's at, and tell yourself kind things, and compassion. Be kind, compassionate to yourself and with others, during this time, Scorpio. And you do what you do best. You just raise that vibration and get the change and get to growing. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.